before I explain what our next project is, I figured I'd explain why we're doing this. So about a year and a half ago, we put new dealer valve robots in to milk our cows, and that's allowed us to milk like 10, 15, 20 more animals than we used to be able to milk. So to get our robots up to max capacity, we started having a few more cows around and stuff. So when you get a few more animals around like that, then you have to start having more animals that are like heifers, that are animals that can eventually replace animals that are getting older and stuff. And so to do that, we have to find more room for heifers and stuff. So what we're doing here is right now we're in our steer barn where we have steers and stuff. So this used to be a barn that had cows in when we still milked in the parlor, and the steers have been kind of in here. So as you can see, it's a little run down and stuff. But what we're gonna do is take some of the stalls out, and we're gonna move animals that are in a different barn right now that are getting ready to calve as first-time heifers, and they're gonna be in half this barn, and then on the other side we're gonna split it, and the steers are gonna be in the rest. So that way the barn that those animals are already in can be used for heifer pens. So we're just gonna try to utilize more space we have and stuff. So what we're gonna do first is try to take all these stalls out, so that way instead of them continuing to get wrecked and not be used, we're gonna try to take them out so while they're still good quality and be able to use that. So that's gonna be one of the first things we gotta do to get this ready to have other animals in here. So it's been a couple hours now. We got about half the stalls out, so we're gonna call her good for today. We gotta do a couple other things quick before it gets dark out and stuff. So should be able to get the rest of this done in a couple hours. So I'll take the stalls out, then we're gonna work on doing a few other things. We're gonna put some jumbo blocks to divide the two pens, where the steers are gonna be down there and the heifers that are gonna calve are gonna be up here. And then we gotta put a new water in so they have more space to drink, and those are really the main things that we're gonna have to do to get this ready yet. Today we're working on going back at refitting our steer barn for having some heifers that are about to calve in it here. So what we're working on today is we're gonna put some jumbo blocks right here, because this is the open face of the barn here. And so in the winter this gets quite a draft in here, and like sometimes we put like bales or something here to help close it off, but we want to get something a little bit more permanent. So we already got one jumbo block there, but we're gonna put a couple of jumbo blocks in this lane right here and stack them about 2 high, so that way it's something a little bit permanent. And then eventually at some point we're gonna put a gate here so we can get in with the skid loader. So having these jumbo blocks here will give us somewhere to mount the gate on. So we're gonna pull that gate out of here, and then eventually this guardrail is gonna come out of here too. But that's gonna be for another day probably. So we're just grabbing the last block here. So the way we move our jumbo blocks is we use our bucket tractor. We have a fancy attachment that has a chain on there, and we just put a small jumbo block on the back to level things out, and it actually works pretty good. So we're just getting this last block here. We already have 3 of them in here, plus the 4th one we went like this just to help secure everything and stuff. So let's go get this last one in place, and this should be all good. So basically this is what the finished product is going to look like. So like I said before, when we get to it, these guardrails are going to come out, and we'll have a gate attached to the jumbo blocks to go straight to that post. Then we'll take the rest of these stalls out, and eventually somewhere in here we'll have another set of jumbo blocks to separate this lane into 2 different things. But for now we've got this work on, so we're going to work on a few other things and let this be for another day. Next day now, so Duke's working on scraping out our steer barn here quick, and we're gonna work on removing the rest of the stalls. We got about halfway done here, so there's like probably 10, maybe a little bit less than that here, and then 8 or 9 here to take out. So hopefully it shouldn't take too long, and then we'll figure out what else we're gonna work on here. So we got all the stalls taken out now, and so the next thing we really gotta work on is putting jumbo blocks to divide the middle of our barn, just like it's gonna be down there. And then the steers will be on this end and get fed down there kind of. And the animals that are gonna be having soon to have calves are gonna be fed like the steers are right now. So these animals are very friendly apparently. But that'll be all for now. Another thing we have to do is put a new water into that's gonna be bigger, have more space, so that way they more easily can get to it from both sides. but we'll have to pour concrete and stuff for that. So this will be all for now. So if you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and make sure to tune back in, because next video we're going to work on chopping and second crop here, so that should be pretty interesting.